Man, first Black Mirror, New 52, All-Star Batman. Now we're at Absolute Batman. Scott Snyder's just killing it. Ayo, it's Retro. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about Absolute Batman, a comic that I was highly anticipating. Scott Snyder is one of the best Batman writers that have ever come out. Nick Dragotta is an amazing, and I mean an amazing artist, coupled with Frank Martin, whose colors alongside Nick Dragotta's pencils are honestly some of the most unique and stylistic art styles in comics right now. Absolute Batman is the best. It is the best issue this year. I am 100% behind that. You would have thought Scott Snyder accomplished everything with the Batman titles that he's already written. He wrote one of the most defining Batman titles with New 52. He wrote one of the best Dick Grayson titles with Batman Black Mirror. He wrote an amazing follow-up with Batman All-Star after New 52. And now he's back almost 12 years later after the start of New 52 with a new universe, a new Batman, and a new Gotham. And he is just killing it. This is Scott Snyder in true form. This is his best work since All-Star Batman and New 52 Batman. When Absolute Batman was first announced, I asked myself, what else is there for Scott Snyder to say about the character? And honestly, the prospect of the Absolute Universe being this new universe powered by dark side energy, where everything is different. You know, Batman is not a billionaire playboy. He is just like us. He was a normal kid. His dad was a teacher. His mom was a social worker. And it's the first time that Batman is so much like us. So many stories over the years, Batman has been this mythic figure that has looked over Gotham, in some ways looking down at Gotham. Absolute Batman is a Batman where he has grown up through Gotham. He has seen all the bad of Gotham. He has lived all the bad that Gotham has to offer, and it empowers him to be Batman. The opening narration of this issue is interesting. It opens up with Alfred talking about Gotham. This is Alfred's third time being back in Gotham. He is a top secret agent, very probably similar to how his backstory is in the original main Earth in DCU. It's interesting because this whole narration feels like Scott Snyder talking to us, the audience, telling us this is his third time coming to Gotham. And it's a different Gotham. It's a completely different Gotham. It's so dark. It's so gritty. It's so depressing almost. It culminates at the end of this issue with Snyder, Nick Dragotta, and Frank Martin kind of telling us that, like, they got this. This title is in good hands. It's such an interesting way to start this issue and also end it. But Absolute Batman #1 is essentially, it's very much a textbook origin story for a new universe, for a new Batman. We find out how this Bruce Wayne became Batman. He was a young kid who tested very early on to be a genius after he designed a mobile, collapsible bridge to bring aid to locations hit by catastrophic damage or disasters. After this design, he won a prize, which was a field trip to Gotham Zoo. Bruce Wayne, his dad, along with his fellow students, were on this field trip, and an armed assailant came in and started shooting people. Thomas ended up protecting the children and putting them into a closet so that the armed assailant didn't find them. And after doing that, Thomas ended up getting shot and killed. This fueled Bruce Wayne to rage, lash out at the world. Ended up turning it around. He had a football scholarship. After that, he got injured and he ended up going back to school. After he graduated, he ended up working through several infrastructures in Gotham: power grid, the sanitation, water department, then finally came back to being an engineer, which is what he wanted to do. He is, by all means, an engineer. It's kind of an interesting way to position this Bruce Wayne. Like I said earlier, he's not a billionaire, he's not a playboy. He is a regular Joe who understands how Gotham works on the inside. And after seeing all of these atrocities that is going on in his city, he is fueled by so much anger and rage, and he wants to stop it. This Batman is so different. He's lethal, he's very aggressive. He's not like the mainline Batman where he is very precise. He'll knock out people This one will cut your arm off. This one will still use a gun, even if it's not lethal, but he'll still use a gun. It's so interesting. This book's pacing is perfect. It's 42 pages and it doesn't feel long, but it's not flying by either. It is perfectly paced. You get the backstory, you get the main plot line, which is Alfred kind of hunting down Batman and at the same time watching this new gang that's rising. And this conflict takes us through the entire issue. And it's primarily an Alfred book, which is, to me, some of the best Batman origins have been told by someone else. Batman Year One was told by Jim Gordon. This one's primarily told by Alfred. It's a textbook first issue. It is an excellent first issue. I'm so blown back by how much Scott Snyder has to tell for this character still. You would think after maybe 70 issues of writing Batman, you would have nothing. And yet this issue feels like Scott has another 50 issues to tell for this character. There are also some other very cool elements. There's no real Batcave. Because Bruce Wayne works as engineer, he does work with several millionaires who buy out these buildings and asked to build buildings, but end up not using it. And because Bruce knows this, he actually ends up using these empty, unused, unnecessary buildings, the very top levels of them, and he uses them as a Batcave. I assume he has other ones. They did not really say. We only saw one. It's so interesting to flip this character on his head. Yeah, it's absolute Batman. The hype is real, is what I'll tell you. It's so simple. It's such a simple story, such a simple issue. It's very much your typical issue one of a brand new character. Only someone like Scott Snyder can make it feel like a generational comic. I honestly have very little to say because of how excellent it is. You need to read it. If you scoffed at the idea, the prospect at another Batman book by Scott Snyder, I think you'll be very surprised by how different this is, how fresh this feels, but also how familiar this is. This very much feels like Batman Year One. This very much feels like Scott Snyder's Batman run, but it's a new universe. It's a new premise. It's a new background for Bruce Wayne. Having him be a middle-class worker and wanting to clean up Gotham is beautiful. And everything this Batman has is so practical. His suit is entirely practical. His ears are daggers. His arm blades actually work. His Batman logo was able to attach to a handle to become an axe. He is he is a unit. He is a one-man army. When you think of the war on Gotham and Batman's war on Gotham and the crime in Gotham, it feels like this Batman is very much the most prepared for it. That's what it feels like. Because he's an engineer, he is very much engineering his whole thing. He seems like he is by himself. This book, man, this was amazing. The Absolute Universe is off to an incredible start. If you're not tuned in, go buy this book. I read this book 6 times. Not because I didn't understand it, but because it is genuinely that good. And I will be reading every single issue almost that many times. Every little change in this book is intentional, I feel like. And again, I have to sing Nick Dragotta and Frank Martin's praises because the coloring is amazing. It's moody. It's not muted black, gray, and brown colors. It's colorful when it needs to be. It matches the mood of each panel that it's supposed to be, that's used in. And Nick Dragotta is one of the most stylistic artists right now. He portrays this huge Batman the best way that any artist could. The art is kinetic. You feel every single punch that Batman throws. The detail in the paneling is amazing. And to top it all off, Clayton Cowles is lettering this, the best letterer in comics right now. So it's like this book was made to be one of the best books to come out this year. This is a true to form Batman book, and it's not a main Earth Batman. Yeah, that's Absolute Batman #1. If you liked the review, please like, subscribe, comment what you want me to talk about next. I'm looking to talk about the Absolute Universe and DC All In as a whole. I'll be making that video very soon, but I wanted to wait until the rest of the books have started. So yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.